Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to show you how you can make this sweater dress. Well, I made the dress version of this pattern, but you can also sew it as a sweater only. So it has sleeves with cuffs, very comfortable sleeves I think. And the showstar is the color. So it comes to a point here in the center, and you can wear it down or wear it up. It crosses over here in the front, and depending on how cold you feel, you can adjust the color. So I will probably always fold it up because I'm always cold, you know. So the pattern is available on my website for free. So first step, let me show you how you can get the pattern. You can either follow the link below the video or you go to dressdeveloper.com, patterns. And here we have a sweater crossline. Click on create pattern. So, and here you see you have 4 different options. You can sew the sweater with a bustard or without a bustard. I'm going for the version with bustard because I have a larger bust, and with bustard everything will sit better. So, and I'm going for the white neckband, so it's basically a shawl color. You can also sew it with a narrow neckband, so you basically have a simple sweater with a V-neck. Is sewn exactly the same. So, and then you need to select your size, or you can upload your measure set with your very own measurements. Next are some additional measurements. Now, the first one does not make sense if you are going for the short sweater version. If you want to sew a sweater dress, then you can spread out the skirt here at the bottom. And here you can add the amount of addition to the hem circumference. So I'm going for 60 centimeters here. And these 60 centimeters is not the full hem, but it's added to the hem. So if you don't add anything here, the dress will go straight down. So the hem would have the same circumference than your hip measurements plus ease. And here, with these 60 centimeters, this is added to the sides. So the skirt is angled out and spread out, and then you have more of an A-line skirt. You can leave it just as is. You don't need to fill this out. Same for the model length. If you don't put anything here, you will get a sweater which just reaches down to your hips. But if you're going for a longer dress, like I do, you can just put in the length, the desired length of your dress, and then you get a longer version of the pattern. So next is the fit category. The fit category defines the amount of ease. So that means you have this little table here on the left. So default is fit category 4. So this would equal to 8 centimeters of ease in the bust, 7 to the waist and 6 to the hips. So next I will simply add some seam allowance. Paper format is fine. I am printing at home. And then I can create the pattern. And here I have 2 links. Let me show you the second one first. So here I have a little cover with an overview over your measurements and the pattern pieces. And here you have a preview of your pattern. Actually, this is the printing layout. So you might determine here in the middle you have a couple of pages with nothing on it, so you might want to simply skip these while printing. But here you can see how you need to assemble your pieces later. So you have here the front, the back of the dress with the angled out skirt, the sleeve, some pockets. The pockets does not show up when you're sewing the short version, so the sweater version. They just magically appears when you make the dress version, because every dress needs pockets, right? So this is the collar piece, and these are the cuffs. So this is all. And when I send this again, we have here the first link, which is the pattern itself, all ready for printing. Okay, I will let you into a little secret while I'm cutting out. Since this dress is flared at the bottom, I cannot put the front and the back piece right next to each other. They would overlap, right? So what I'm doing is I move the fold of the fabric a little bit, just enough so that I can cut the pattern pieces, the front and the back pattern pieces on the fold. And then I have enough room to wiggle out one of the sleeves. Not two at the same time, but one. So when I cut the second piece of the dress, I will just flip the sleeve, because I need two mirrored pieces. And then I can cut out both sleeves. So you see here, I have the back piece of a dress. Can you see it? Yeah. So let me position this correctly and move the sleeve out of the way. So, and now I have in fact saved up a little bit of fabric, and I will use this leftover for the cuffs and the pockets, so that is not going to be wasted too. But make sure that you flip over the sleeve pattern, because we need two mirrored pieces. Always remember that. This is a pretty chunky fabric to cut. You see that the inside is almost black while the outside is red. This is a double side fabric, but I am simply using it as I would any other knit fabric. And I must admit, it is a bit tough to cut. So, don't forget the notches. I haven't cut the notches on the sleeves yet, so I will do this now. And this one. Okay. Now I have cut the back and one of the sleeves, and I will cut the front and the second sleeve, and the collar and the cuffs and the pockets. And then I will check in again. All right, time for prep work. Where is the front? This is the front. And since I like my bustard, I need to prep this now. So I have marked the end point of the dart with a pin, and here on the side I have these notches. So I line up the notches and I shift the pin so that it holds the fabric together like this. And then I will go on my sewing machine and sew a straight line with a straight stitch from the notches to the pin. Then I sew a couple of stitches over the edge of the fabric and then leave a long tail and tie a knot. This is, in my opinion, the best way to sew a knot. This fabric has enough ease so that I should not need to worry about the stretchability of this specific seam. So I've done the other dart too. So one dart, second dart. But let me batch. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm shaking you. Let me batch my tasks a bit, because I need to do a little bit more prepping. So here I have the cuffs, and I want to close them in the round. So my preferred method is to fold the cuffs to the short side. So here is the fabric vein, and then I fold it halfway. And then I will sew this edge on my serger. And then when you flip this around, you have your cuff. This way you will have a tiny bit, you can see it here, of unevenness here at the join. But I prefer this way because the seam allowance can't shift anywhere. If you do it another way around, so that the seam allowance lie flat, it usually doesn't stay flat, you see? And this is why I'm doing this way. So I will not throw this into the washing machine, of course, but if you would, then even then the seam allowance would not shift anywhere. So, and the last thing is the collar. So I will fold the collar in half lengthwise, and then I will simply fold it like this. And I will sew this little triangle here just to keep the fabric in place. You see? Oh, that's a broken clip. So I will sew with a straight stitch on my sewing machine here and here, so that this doesn't get undone. And yeah, then I will check back with you. So, cuffs all prepared. So here's this little unevenness, but I don't care. So, second one. Right. So we don't need these for a little while. Same with the color. It's the next step. So before I can join my pieces together, I need to add the pocket pieces. I usually do this after I close the side seams, but with knits I prefer it another way. So here you can see, is it on camera? Yes, here. Here you can see my waist, and about the hand's width below the waist I want to install the pockets. So yeah, one pocket piece is enough. So I will simply add this here. This fabric is great for teaching because you can tell the right from the left side so easily. So like this. And then I need to determine the matching position for the back. So let me grab the back real quick, because we want these to be at the same height, right? So this is the back piece, and I join this here on the side. So yeah, I have buried my clips. I'm always fighting with my clips, you notice? So now exactly at the same position. Come on. Second pocket piece. So, and I will repeat this for the other side, both back and front. And then I will sew these in place with my serger, but I won't be cutting into the seam allowance. So I'm sewing right here at the edge. So since I'm working with a 1.5 centimeter seam allowance, the stitching line is about here, but the serging will stop about here, 7 millimeters, so they don't interfere. So on to the serger. So the next step is an extra easy one. Let me quickly show you where we are at. So here we have, is this the back? Yes, that's the back. With our pockets hanging out like little elephant ears. We can ignore these for now, and I will now... Oh, I just found a flaw in the fabric. It's so sad. Maybe I need to add a little embroidery or something over this. Nah. This is not good, but it's at the hem. I will figure something out. Let's just finish our dress first. So, right sides to right sides, I will join shoulder seams. So, easy as that. And we will now sew this on my serger, just these two little seams. So now I am going to install the color, and this is a teeny bit frickly because of this V. So I have marked the seam allowance on both of my sides and here down on the front. And I now need to join up this side. So I want to join my chalked in lines. And the seam allowance, of course. So. And as you see, the color lays basically the opposite direction when I want to sew the second side. So I will sew here only a couple of centimeters. This is absolutely enough. We don't want to install the color in one go, but when I have done this, I will backstitch, and when I will probably need to cut here down into the fabric of a front piece a little bit, so I can spread this open and pivot the color piece around so I can line up. This is bunching up right now, so I can line up here, and then it should fold open like this. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this any good, but alas, I sew here up until this point where the seam allowance met. Then I cut here a little into the V to open it furthermore. Then I will pivot everything, stretching out the V a bit to sew up the other side. Only a couple of centimeters, that's enough. After that, I will pin the rest in place. Here are actually, somewhere here, are actually notches for the shoulder seam. So I can join up the rest and sew it again all around with a serger. Okay, let's see how it works. So things are coming together. Let us install the sleeves. So you have here the arm side. There's a single notch in the front and a double notch in the back. And here I have a matching sleeve with a single notch, a notch here for the shoulder, and double notch for the back. So I am simply placing this top notch onto the shoulder seam. And the double notch, end of sleeve and end of back arm side. And the single notch. Yes, this starts to bunch up. This is fine. So let me lift this up. And I will just spread out the sleeve, maybe shake it a bit, find the center and distribute everything evenly. Yes, this is a stretch fabric, but I try not to stretch it because the danger is there that I will stretch it out of place and then it will look funny. The sleeve should go in nicely even without stretching. Remember, you are not joining up the seam allowance, but the stitching line. And the stitching line sits 1.5 centimeters to the inside. So, clipped all around, and then I will go to the serger and simply sew these on. I'm just clipping the other side and then we will serge again. So the sleeves are in place and I can now close the side seams. I will start at the wrist of the sleeves and then continue all the way down to the hem. So I am joining up the underarm. And here I need to actually join the pockets. And the pockets will be treated as if they have always been on this place at the side seam. In theory, you could actually cut these already on the place if you want to. Might be a bit of fabric waste, but in theory you could. So line these up. The bustard gets folded down and caught in the side seam. Here's a waist. And here's already the hem. So, 2 more clips. Okay, so this is one side. I will of course pin the other side too. And then I will sew all the way down around the pockets. and down into the hem. And then I will check in again. Not much left to do now. Let me turn the dress inside out. That's the pocket. Where's the sleeve? Whoop. Now we're talking. Oh, I love this color. So, now I need to add the cuffs. So, I will just pull out the sleeve through the cuff, so I have right sides facing. Chunky. So I have the seam allowance of the cuff here to the left, and to reduce the bulk, at least a little, I will lay the seam allowance of the sleeve to the right. This fabric is a chunky boy. So, now I have to mention something. Alas, this fabric needs to be stretched a little bit. The sleeve needs to be stretched. No, the cuff. What am I talking about? The cuff needs to be stretched. Oh, speaking is hard today. Right. So, the cuff should sit pretty snug, but the sleeve is drafted with a bit of extra ease. So, of course, I need to stretch the cuff so that they can fit together. This fabric should be stretchy enough to do this. I hope so. If not, I will have some gatherings. Not the end of the world. But it looks good. So while I sew this on, I will sew on the inside, so that I don't need to worry how I could fit this under my serger. And second, I need to stretch it a bit. Not the sleeve is wide enough, but the cuff needs to be stretched a bit. So there's the other sleeve. Woo! Trying to escape in the last minutes. Okay. Again, alternating the seam allowance. One to the left, one to the right. And then I stretch the cuff a bit. Okay, I would say this look good. So, last step on the sewing machine. I mean at the serger, right? So before I'm going to hem this, I'm going to address this little broken part of fabric. Is there another one? It's not broken yet, but looks not too good either. Hard to tell because the fabric is a bit of a mix of red and black, but this I need to address. So I have this little charm here, and I think this is a perfect match here. Nice little addition to the hem. So I want to try to reinforce my stitches before they break even more. So I'm just going to anchor the threads, the broken threads in place. This will not be the prettiest work, but I have a little charm. Where have I placed it? There. I have a little charm to help with that. So it's a good thing that this is a double-faced fabric, or there would be a pretty solid hole in this fabric. I'm not too happy about this. But such things can happen. No reason to throw the good fabric away, right? So again, this will not look pretty, but I don't care. Just don't want this to become bigger, right? I could probably buy a matching embroidery thread and make a prettier job out of this. But I like my idea with a charm. This will not go into the washing machine, so I hope it does not unravel any further. In which case I would need to think about a different idea of patching this. If I had used the other side of the fabric, you would hardly see anything. enough. Here's my little charm. This was actually a little, very little, a Christmas present by the store I bought the fabric in. So I think this is a good use for it. See? Fabric floor there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm anchoring this and then I can't forget about it, hopefully. Come on. So the last thing left now is the hem. And since I want a clean finish, I'm going to hem it by hand. I have serged the raw edge. You can, of course, use bias tape. I always like bias tapes to hem. Alas, this time I decided different. So I have serged the edge just to neaten it up a bit and keep it from unraveling. And then I will just do quick little whip stitches here, folding the hem up for, what is it, 2 to 3 centimeters, an inch maybe. So don't make any complicated job out of this. Again, this is not going into the washing machine. I don't think the hem needs to be super sturdy. Just keep the fabric up. And while I'm sitting here doing the hem, see, you can't see a thing from the outside because I'm only catching, in this case, the back fabric, or in a different fabric I would just catch a couple of threads, and so my stitching would not be shown on the outside. But while I'm sitting here, why don't you go further into the future and have a look at the finished dress? Alright, you made it to the end of the video. So what leaves me to say? Well, I quite like this project. It turned out exactly how I imagined it to, and it adds a bit variety to my winter wardrobe because it doesn't have this wide skirt. Good for windy days maybe. So it's a very simple project. As soon as you manage to get this little V, this is basically the most complicated part of this project. And I'm sure you can do it too. So, as always, I hope this video was of some help for you and you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, just let me know down in the comments and I'm glad to help. I hope I will see you soon in my next video. Bye bye!